can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted as always to be joined by Punch Out Boxing's Ra Hokum. This is a reaction video to the news that Daniel Dubois, former world champion Daniel Dubois, and trainer Don Charles have split, with Dubois being rumoured to link up with Tony Sims. This comes in the wake of Dubois' loss against Alexander Usyk a month ago. Ra, good to be joined by you. Thank you for jumping on. Give us your instant reaction. This news, it's not 100% confirmed yet, but it's one of those where enough people are saying the same thing, so it looks like it could be true. Maybe not a massive surprise with the way that Dubois performed in his last fight, but yeah, give us your reaction to this one, please.
If it turns out to be true, the only thing surprising is that it took this long, unless the decision was made quick and it hasn't been publicised yet. No, I mean, it's Team Dubois doing what Team Dubois does every time there's a defeat for Daniel. I think we're going to see this throughout his career, but increasingly it looks like any coach that Team Dubois hires is just cosmetic. I don't think it's any secret that I think by his own admission, him and his team's own admission, that the only voice he really listened to is his father. Why his father actually still hires a coach, I don't know, rather than just simply take the role on himself. He wouldn't be the first father who's done that without, any particular boxing background himself. I think Enzo Calzaghe did that with his son. I'm sure Tio Lopez Sr. is similar. I'm not sure if he was an ex-boxer himself, but yeah, one has to wonder, is it just that Dubois Sr. needs another figurehead to serve as a scapegoat for any failures or shortcomings? Don't think whoever the coach is, so whether it's Tony Sims or not, I don't think we're going to see any sort of serious change in Dubois' fighting style or his psychological makeup or any of that. Like I said, at this point, I think any coach is really just window dressing for Team Dubois.
Yeah, no, look, Dubois still only 27. We're not sure when he's going to be back in the ring, who that could be against, but there's a little bit to unpack here, Rob. But was the writing kind of on the wall when Dubois performed the way he did against Usyk, and because we've not really caught up properly since then about this, but what was your thoughts on Dubois' performance against Usyk and what happened in terms of kind of the Partygate situation, Dubois turning up late, Dubois kind of getting stopped early then in the first fight against Usyk? How would you analyze that whole situation?
Yeah, the whole thing with the partying, again, it's utterly, I mean, just unfathomable at that level. But again, it shows that the actual serious people in the camp, i.e. the boxing coach, have little to no say in how things are run. I can't imagine Don Charles would have, if it was up to him, would have had such a thing happen. And then there was all the talk of, that if the entourage aren't allowed in, then Daniel's not going to fight. It's nonsensical, of course. I mean, you've got a contract. So, yeah, I mean, just things like that. It's just, anyone who takes on the job effectively are just saying, I'll sit here, go through the motions and pick up my paycheck. And when you need someone to blame, fine, as long as I get my paycheck at the end of it. In terms of how the fight went, I didn't think Daniel was any better or worse. As I said, he fights one way and he does the same thing in every fight. This was about Usyk getting better, which is a scary thought, because I actually thought at 38 he's got to be in decline, but he showed that he's possibly got more tools in his box that he's not brought out, in that he came in heavier and held his ground looking for the big knockout. I give Daniel the benefit of the doubt that he did not quit. If you look at the knockout blow in slow motion, you see at the moment of impact, his eyes do roll back. And when he's on the canvas that second time, his eyes looked glassy. So I think in that situation, yeah, people say, oh, you get up at 9 or 10, it means you quit. No, I don't think so. There's plenty of great fighters who got up at 9 or 10. I think George Foreman, most famously against Muhammad Ali, and years later he said, well, I thought I was up at the count of 8. But I think when your brain's been scrambled, I'm sure you're not processing the count properly. So I think he was legitimately knocked out. And I do think that if his dad had yelled from the corner, "Get up!" I think he would have got up. As we mentioned, when his dad gives orders, he follows them. So yeah, I don't think he quit. I just think Usyk came in a little bit better. And you got to remember when he got caught with the knockout blow after getting up from the first knockout, he got caught as a result of going in there trying to swing and trade. So he did sort of go for broke, if you like. So that's how I see it. Yeah, at 27, I think one thing about Daniel is he doesn't get affected psychologically by his defeats. The next fight, he's back to doing what he does. So with the right style of opponent, I think we'll see him destroying people again. He'll be back in the heavyweight title picture, and wouldn't be surprised if he becomes a heavyweight champion again. Though with the next crop of talent coming up, I don't think he'll ever be the heavyweight champ. But that won't matter because I don't think we'll have a dominant heavyweight champ again for a long time. I'm talking about the post-Usyk era, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think, as I said, look, we don't know when Dubois is next going to be in the ring, but next going to be kind of hunting for world titles, and at the same time, we don't know when Usyk's going to retire. Usyk could have one more fight in January, February time, but he could have another 3 or 4 fights, which kind of means that Dubois is not going to be fighting for a world title during that period. But no, I agree with you. Dubois can still be a contender in the next few years. But yeah, see what happens. Yeah, look, Dubois is, as we're saying in this video, it's not been 100% confirmed, but yeah, it looks like he's linking up with Tony Sims as his new trainer, and we will wait for more news soon. Ra, thank you very much for your time. I'll speak to you soon.